Alright, so looks like your setup looks good in terms of the foot flare and the stance width. I'm liking that. Let's see.
Oh, jeez.
What's wrong?
Give me a second. Let me just, where is, let me hit that back real quick.
Yep.
Just watch this.
Alright.
I bet you, look at my head. So, that's the one thing I noticed through all those bad rounds recently.
What's that?
Is I've had sway, and when I consciously focus on staying relatively still.
Well, look at this. Where do you see a lot of sway?
When I go back and load up.
You think your head moves too much or your hips move too much to the right?
Yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't call that excessive, to be honest with you.
Really?
Watch Jason Duffner here. Now, the problem with this video, and I'll just tell you, is the person who took it did not use a tripod. So you notice I put a square on the ball.
yeah,
Watch how the ball moves all over the place.
yeah.
So I'm going to get a different guy. I'm going to use Tringali. I got a good video of him. He's a relatively young guy on the tour, but I like his action because it's very simple. Doesn't have a lot of hand action. He does get behind it though, if you notice there.
Yeah.
And the swing is short, you know. And then he really stays on top of it. Notice how level the shoulders rotate here. This is something I want you to sort of work on. That's a big deal. But so as you transition here, you don't go past the ball. You don't overshift laterally. That looks good, and you stay behind it. So like I said, to me, that doesn't look bad from this angle at all. My only concern is the club's cross the line at the top. It needs to be a little more at the left.
We worked on that, I think, back in February.
And I want the swing to be right here.
Okay.
That's where I want you to finish. That extra just throws the timing off a little bit. And I told you that before.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in terms of the major fault, we got to work on this loss of posture. You know, and putting your forehead on a door jamb and just practice rotating and staying in posture.
Mm-hmm.
You know, is a huge deal.
Can you set it back up? I just want to ask you a question about from the top of the swing.
Okay.
Because I feel like on my downswing I rotate everything kind of at the same time. So
interesting.
There's
okay.
no separation.
Let's see. Well, you start a little bit with the hands early. I'd like to see what you bring a good point up here, but there's some disassociation there. Your zipper is in front of your trunk. So there is, I mean, you wouldn't be able to hit it with speed if you didn't have some disassociation.
Okay.
You know, you have lag in your swing. The club head's loading and unloading properly, I think. But yeah, I mean, you could certainly, if you're hooking the ball, to get a running start with your lower body would never hurt. To feel like the lower body's moving before you ever finish the backswing,
Right.
Just fractionally earlier than maybe it is right now, that would never hurt.
Okay.
But it's not a deal breaker for me, because there's some guys on tour that actually don't separate. He's one of them. If you look at this swing, it's not a tremendously powerful looking action. He doesn't unload. He doesn't have a lot of lag, but he's a big guy. He's like 6'3".
Yeah.
He's not a long hitter for his size, though.